So, I'm going to start off with just saying, look, you're the CEO and executive director of TEDCO, Maryland's economic engine for technology companies. But you have a varied background in being the COO and high-ranking leadership positions within many organizations, both quasi-government to educational to non-government. So, I guess my question begins with, how did you get there? How did you see the path to you rising up to these very senior level positions?
Yeah, Alex, thanks for the question. You know, um, some of it is planned, some of it is just, circumstance, some of it is God at the end of the day, and I'm a man of faith. And so, but I'll answer your question this way. So I grew up in Houston, Texas. With my mom, my parents were divorced, and my dad was still part of my life, but it's my mom and my sister that I grew up with. And my mom used to tell me that the good Lord has put us on this planet for one purpose and one purpose only. And that one purpose is to make a difference in one person's life. Challenge is, you don't know who that one person is, or when they're going to come into your life, or the impact you're going to have with them. So therefore, you have to make a difference in every person's life you touch. And so, I've taken that as my mantra, as my calling card. But I've also tried to find those places, like when I was at HBCUs, where, talent doesn't always go. Look, talent is at the end of the day, the heart of everything we do. People can talk all they want to do, but I believe that you grow an organization because you grow the people in the organization, not the other way around. And so I've been blessed to be able to be in organizations and be with leaders who understood that and are willing to invest. And so part of what I've also done is try to be in organizations so that I can be part of the catalyst of attracting a different talent set that would normally go. Why does a guy with, background, master's in computer science and the MBA from Harvard, go to Jackson, Mississippi purposefully to go to Jackson State? And I still point to the work that we did at Jackson State as some of the best work I've done as a professional. But the point being is, and the guy that I was working for, went to Columbia, got a JD from Columbia. And so having talent attracts talent. And I think we as Black folks, we got to understand that talent attracts talent. And it's not about just you, it's about creating individuals around you that really make that. And so part of my journey, to your question, has been understanding the creation of those individuals and the creation of those and coaching those individuals. Someone coached me, and so I've coached others and I've seen others through the coaching that I've been able to be a part of grow their careers, and it's like I've grown my career because of the support of others. And so it's thinking of what my mom told me, thinking about how you have others in your life and making sure that they're part of that, but having a purpose, having a passion around that which you do. And when you have that passion, it's not a job anymore, it's a calling.
You bring up so many great points, and I'm hoping I'm going to be able to touch up on a number of them. The first one I'll jump on is, you just talked about coaching. You talked about having relationships that help you grow. As I've spoken to leaders, especially very senior level leaders, I've they've expressed to me a difficulty in finding people who can coach them, finding people who can mentor them, because they're at such a high level that it's more difficult. Is that what you found? And if how do you go about finding people who can coach and help mentor you to grow even more effective than what you are now?
You know, part of it starts with, and this maybe get me in some trouble with some of your viewers, but some part of it starts with you. You got to present yourself in a way. You got to go and do the work. You got to show that you are willing to be coachable. That's number one. And you got to show that you bring something to the table, because people want to attach themselves to that. People want to help you if you want to help yourself and you are a leader. Look, my first kind of real job outside of the jobs you do when you're kind of a teenager, well, maybe really my second one, but the job I had, I went to undergraduate at Southern Methodist University. And at that time, SMU has, and they still do have, a co-op program. And the co-op program there was every other semester you went to work. And I worked for the old Rockwell International Collins Transmission Systems Division, which was up at that time in Richardson, Texas. It no longer is there. Anyway, I got there, and I was electrical engineer, but I quickly found out that I was not a very good electrical engineer. I couldn't put together hardware to save my life. But what I had an affinity for was programming. And so I got put on a team that developed some software. I'm really going to age myself here. I got some software that did the old microwave radio hops, so you could check so as opposed to a guy having a drive from hop to hop to hop, we could look at it remotely, and it's called remote control and monitoring. And I wrote a lot of the software for one of those systems. And so because of that, and because I showed, the desire to learn, I had a number of those individuals who are still frankly part of my life. And this is, 30, 40 years ago, who took an ownership in me, talked to me, and got to me and helped guide me. And these were a bunch of white guys. And so I'm this young Black guy. And they didn't, there was no cultural connection. And I actually had a white woman who really took me under her name, Virginia. She really took me under her wing. I became her little son. My point to answer your question, though, is you have to present yourself as someone who is coachable. You have to present yourself as someone who brings something to the table. And you have to present yourself as someone who's willing to listen to that and take that guidance and be able to manage it. And then the last piece of that is to pass it on. I think if someone is planted into you and fed into you, you got to take those and pass it on to somebody else. And if you're not willing to do that, if you're not willing to be receptive or even be a participant, you're going to have, I think, a lonely life, and you're not going to be coachable, and you're not going to be able to.
Hello, everyone. This is Alex Tremble from GPS Leadership Solutions. And if you found this last interview to be awesome, spectacular, and actually you benefited from it, let me tell you, this is only the tip of the iceberg. Visit the alextrembleshow.com, information below in the description, and that's where you'll find the full uninterrupted interview. And I'm telling you, there's so much great content you'll hear from this past leader, as well as all the other leaders we've already interviewed. So remember, don't just look back, reach back. If there's someone who you think will benefit from this interview or any of the other interviews, make sure you share it with them. Click the like, click the subscribe. And as I always like to end all my sessions, stay strong, stay positive, and definitely stay moving.